The moment everyone's been waiting for. That's right. Everyone's done their top 5, or top whatever. I guess I shouldn't call it 5, being that, not everyone did 5. But anyways, everyone's done their best of list. It's all done and over with, and now everyone's like, Brandon, what about you? What about you? And I'm like, well, come on, guys. No, you don't want to hear my... Yeah, okay. Dustin, you prepared for
totally ready. I'm totally ready to hear which games Brandon wants to shit all over.
I know. Just like, okay, see, I waited this long to do mine because I wanted to take all of the ones that you guys picked as number 1 and say they were the worst games I've played, just to get in arguments with you. And all the ones on your worst of list, I wanted to pick as my best of, just to really create controversy. That was my ingenious plan. So.
Yeah, we would all spite you.
Oh, I know. God damn. You guys wouldn't believe it anyways. You'd be like, yeah, Brandon, really? Star Trek, best game of the year? Really? That was the best. I think I'd get my shit called out on first. But, I guess I should start out with, high note or low note? I really think I should start out on a high note with the best games of the year, in my opinion, of course. Number 5. What could be number 5, Dustin?
FIFA.
Yeah! Damn it, you got it. So I'm going to cross that up. No. Number 5 is The Last of Us. The zombie game that it uses every zombie trope I've ever seen in every movie ever. And they're just like, let's throw it all into one. So, I'm surprised actually they didn't go in a mall. That's about the only one I didn't see was them going into a mall. But yes, this is a really great game by Naughty Dog. I could not get enough of this game, Dustin. I really, I kind of kicked myself in the butt because, you and I, we played like halfway through it, just in one sitting. You and I would just switch off like, oh, I fucked up. Your turn. I fucked up too. We played quite a bit, and then I just played the rest. That's one of those games I want to re-get, or maybe wait for the HDDD edition for the PlayStation 4 or something. Because they'll do it. Be like, hey, you guys like Last of Us, and who owns a PS3 anymore? Here it is. Alright. Number 4. Batman. Arkham Origins. Yeah, it's Batman, guys. What more can I say but it's fucking Batman. This is actually one of my favorites of the Arkham games. Have you played the Arkham games, Dustin?
No, I'm just sitting in the corner, not having a clue what you're talking about.
Well, let me put a synopsis for you. It's Batman, and he is fighting Batman villains, and it's really fun.
Is that the guy who's, in all black?
Yeah, he wears all black and he kinda has pointy ears.
Yeah!
Not anything looking like a bat, but he's the best superhero out there. And good God, is this game a whole lot of fun. Well, there are naysayers out there about this game, Dustin. Don't get me wrong, there are naysayers, and this game does have its problems. It's not the best game ever. No. But it's one of the games I gave 5 stars out of 5, and I was so happy with it. I just loved the ever-living shit out of it. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I was skeptical about this too, which it surprised me. It did. So, my number 3, you're going to be surprised what my number 3 is. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Alright, huh?
Dun dun dun, it's not number 1. Yes, Grand Theft Auto 5. Do I even need to say why I like this game? I mean, isn't it just common knowledge why everyone likes this game? Even though, actually, you missed out on this year, didn't you?
Yep.
Oh, Dustin, this next year, 2014, I'm going to try to get you whatever games I can. Whenever you're in town, you let me know, and I'll look through my GameFly stuff and be like, oh, what do I got? You playing this now. So that way you can be like, oh yeah, Brandon, I totally played that game, and you can be all happy with yourself.
Yay!
Yeah, instead of being like, yeah, you play Grand Theft Auto 5 there, Dustin? Nah.
What is Grand Theft Auto 5?
Grand Theft Auto. No, that's horrible. That's where a bunch of killing is. This game was actually tied for my whatever award because this game has an amazing scene in it that just got me all excited inside. But yeah, it is an excellent story. It's the only Grand Theft Auto I've ever beaten too. So yeah, put that on my mantle now and be like, yes, I've beaten one Grand Theft Auto. And I did not mess around in it that much, so woo!
Yeah, one thing I can say is that I did not beat 4 either. I got like 5 missions in and I'm like, let's just go kill things.
I got pretty far in 4, but I actually technically still own 4, but my disc is cracked in half and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I can throw it away. I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised at myself that I haven't thrown it away, to be honest with you. I got a to-do list now. But yeah, GTA 5, a game, you know what's funny? So far, all 3 of the games I've named off, I don't even own. I just rented these. I never even went out and spent the $60 to get them. But yeah, I don't own Grand Theft Auto 5. I kind of want to as well because, you know, it's a fun-ass game. But I'll wait 4 years when it's $10 and I'll get it for that. Number 2. You ready for my number 2? It's another game that, ooh.
I'm guessing, I don't know how highly you rated BioShock Infinite, but I'm gonna guess number 2 is BioShock Infinite.
It's wrong. It's Diablo 3. Oh, I understand, folks, this game technically came out in 2012, but the release for the consoles came out this year, and it was one of the most fun games I played. This was one of those games where okay, Dustin, I don't know, I know you don't review the games as much as the others do, us others. And honestly, I review the most of them. Like, I beat Killzone recently. That was kind of a trial for me, playing all the way through that game and all that. This game took me no time at all in my head. I mean, it took me actually longer than Killzone, but the way time just melts when you're playing the game and you want to play it, oh god, it's just so much fun. And it doesn't even have that most complex story. It's just the gameplay. And Dustin, this is probably one of the games I would highly recommend for you. Because for you specifically, because you're one that you don't really give a shit about stories for the most part. I mean, yeah, you like a good story, but you're not that's not a selling point for you.
Yeah.
But this is a fantastic top-down RPG with fun little loot and all. It was just so much fun. I mean, I got freaking Nick out of all people to actually enjoy this game.
Do you own it?
Yes, I actually do own this one.
All right, nice.
Yes. My number 1 and number 2 I actually own. So, if that's not a hint on what number 1 is, what is it, Dustin?
I know I've heard you talk a lot about it, but I can't think of what it is. I don't know.
You actually already mentioned it. It was BioShock Infinite.
Oh, it was BioShock Infinite. All right, yeah. You did end up buying it then.
Yep, I found it for pretty cheap on GameFly, so I bought it. I replayed it, and I know that doesn't affect why I chose this one over the rest of them, but when I get down and think about it, this game had no missions that pissed me off at all. GTA had some missions. I actually had complaints. I can't think of any complaints with this game, Dustin. It has a really deep and nuanced story going to it. It's just like, holy shit. It's something no one in the world could have guessed right off the bat. Like when you're playing it, you're like, oh, I bet this is going to happen at the end. No fucking way you'd guess this. It is such a deep and the story is amazing. The gameplay is fun. It doesn't, it's not overly complicated. It doesn't try too hard to make it hard or anything. It's a nice, fun experience. Nothing wrong with this. And it looks great too. It looks fantastic. There's just so much great with this. Gameplay is fantastic. I understand, I don't know. I can't think of anything wrong with this game, and that's why it's my number 1. The hype was right about this, because this game was delayed and delayed and delayed, and for good reason. This is my favorite game of the year. Alright. Now, we're all happy. Yep. Hoo-hoo. Well, it's time to talk about some shit. Alright. My worst stuff list. Now, some of these games, Dustin, in my worst stuff list, you didn't even know existed, probably. Because
and I'll continue to avoid them.
Yeah, I don't blame you, because me and Scott got to play. Actually, I played all of them, but me and Scott got to play a couple of them. Or Scott got to play a couple of them, and they're on his worst stuff list. But number 5, Heavy Fire Shattered Spear. You haven't heard of that, have you?
No.
Oh yeah, this is a game where, you know, it's a first person shooter, but it's a first person on rails shooter with a weird ass cover mechanic, and it's only an hour long, and they were asking $60 for this. Plus, it looked shitty, had a terrible story. This was just a pile of crap. And what's really funny, this is one of the first games we reviewed. It's like back when we were doing our old system of rating. This was my first F. I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to give an F for a while, you know. I can't hate games like this. Holy shit, I got this immediately, and I'm just like, what the fuck was this? And it kind of pissed me off. It kind of just like, oh, god damn it. It's going to be one of those years. So, alright. Number 4, what is it, Dustin? What could it be?
Star Trek.
No. Actually, I honestly, when I made this list, I never got around to playing Star Trek. And even compared to Star Trek, is still not as bad as the games on this list. But number 4 is Aliens Colonial Marines.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that game.
Yeah. And the reason why it's not higher up on my list is because it was actually playable. And that's the same thing for Shattered Spear. I was actually able to get through Heavy Fire. I mean, that's because it was an hour long. Same with Aliens Colonial Marines. I was able to get all the way through it. You know, I was pissed off and bored out of my mind. But it was still a playable game. It wasn't very fun. I wouldn't even give that to my worst enemy. You know, I wouldn't be like, hey, I hate you, here you go. Because why would you give a gift to your worst enemy? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Aliens Colonial Marines, this is on like a lot of people's worst stuff list, and I'm like, you guys need to play some more shitty games. Because, I mean, yes, this is on mine as well, but it's not number 1. No, this was dog shit. Number 3. Alright, Dustin, this one is probably going to be one not a lot of people are even going to know, like, throw on their list. Dynasty Warriors 8.
Oh yeah, I remember watching you and Nick play that.
Oh god, I can't tell you how long I spent playing this fucking game trying to get through it. I spent hours and hours. It's a long fucking game. And if literally people go watch our Bloody Time, because that is literally the entire game. There's nothing new about it. There's no challenge to it. There's nothing to it. The enemies stand there while you kill them. They have bosses with health that will stand there and let you kill them. There is nothing going on in this game. And it has horrible graphics, a story I couldn't even begin to recite to you. It was just, oh my god. How is there 8 of these, Dustin? How is there 8? Actually, there's probably like 12, knowing all the little spin-offs. Who enjoys these games? I want to know. If you just happen to listen to us and you're like, wait, I like Dynasty Warriors, please let me know, because I don't know how they get away with making 8 of them. Ugh. Number 2. A game that I know you haven't heard of, so I'm not even going to ask you to guess. Omerta City of Gangsters.
I have heard of that game. Yeah.
Okay, you know, this game seemed like it should be right down my alley, because it's a top-down. It's kind of like XCOM in a way, where it's like, you know, it's a top-down, and you get to use your cover-based shooting and all that fun stuff. Turn-based cover-based shooting type thing. And you're like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, and it has some weird RPG elements, all about gangsters. But it's not fun. It's kind of broken in a lot of ways. It has a really annoying soundtrack. It has a weird, like, Sim City type of thing going on where you're like, oh, I'm going to take over this distillery. But instead of seeing yourself take over it, it just kind of just says, oh, it's yours now. I'm like, wait, what? And then when you do get into combat, it's hard as fuck. And not even, like, hard where it makes sense. It's just like, oh, hey, guess what, player one? You suck. Fuck you. I'm like, there's no strategy to this. This is just like, oh, you didn't pick your character. Because I ended up making a mistake because I wanted my guy to have a lot of health. So he ended up being a moron the whole time because he couldn't do anything for himself. I'm like, okay, so I guess if they're big, they're apparently stupid. That's stereotyping. This game, it was just bad. I could not finish this game or even get it close to. It didn't make me angry. It was just, I didn't want to do it.
I thought about renting it from Redbox. Glad I didn't.
Yeah, you would have wanted your $1 or your $2 back. You would have looked at your $2 and been like, wait, what? You guys, this honestly should be a Facebook game. That's what pissed me off. And we say that in our review. It's like, this is a Facebook game. And also, this is another early game that we got when we first started the site. It was like, oh, Omerta, let's see how this turns out. We play it. Oh god, I have to give another F. Jesus Christ, seriously? Number 1, Dustin. This is the trickiest one of all. What game pissed me off more than every other game? More than Aliens, more than Omerta, more than Aliens, Colonial Marines, more than Dynasty Warriors. This game was shit on toast because it actually pissed me off. What was it, Dustin? What game could have pissed me off?
What is it? Was it a Japanese RPG?
It was not Japanese at all. This is an American game.
I don't know then.
The Walking Dead Survival Instinct.
Oh!
I fucking hated that game. Like, you actually played all the way through it, which I don't even know how. I started playing it and I was just like, at first I was like, okay, this is probably gonna be bad, but how bad could it be? And then when I'm trying to get gas for my vehicle and I get bum rushed, no matter what I do, I'm getting bum rushed by a bunch of fucking zombies because it just makes you get bum rushed because apparently when you start gas, horns start going off or something and I'm just like, what the fuck? And so...
You have to be stealthy.
It was pissing
Forced
me off,
stealth,
dude.
though. Forced stealth kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was a first-person stealth game that was really poorly done, and ugh. And plus, in my opinion there, Dustin, it kind of disparaged the Walking Dead franchise in a way. Because everyone likes Daryl Dixon and all that, they're just like, oh, hey, we're gonna pull down our pants right now and just take a dump on this.
Yeah.
Oh, it pissed me off.
I find it funny how you just hate every aspect of it. I thought it was just a really bad version of The Last of Us, and that's quite different than what you think.
That's what I think is funny, how you threw the Dead Island on your worst stuff list. I'm like, really? Dead Island? I mean, I played Dead Island and it wasn't very fun. I put it in there and I was like, oh, alright, that happened. And you're like, nah, I really didn't like that. I mean, I think you still had Walking Dead on your worst stuff list too.
I think it was disappointment, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right, it was your biggest disappointment was Walking Dead. And I just, dude, that pissed me off. That game was just dumb.
Because I thought it had potential, I just thought it was poorly done and the combat was just bullshit, the same thing over and over, like...
It was bullshit combat, and it was not even fair, because I remember I've hit zombies in the head in that game, and they're just like, what? And I'm like, fuck you! Because if you watch The Walking Dead show, it's like their heads are made of jelly. You could poke their head out. Oh, whatever. Alright, let's get on back to something my biggest surprise isn't really that, I've already mentioned this game, but it was a really big surprise. And that, again, is back to Batman Arkham Origins. It was a really big surprise for me how much I actually ended up loving this game. Because, go back and listen to some of our earlier podcasts when we're doing news about this game. Both me and Nick are just sitting there just like, oh, how good can this game be? Or hell, even you and I got in that big old discussion about the goddamn multiplayer in the game. I mean, we had so much going on with this game, I couldn't possibly think it was going to be that good. And it was amazing. And it surprised the shit out of me. I was rather surprised with this. I don't know how much you like Batman there, Dustin, but if you ever get a shot, I'd say check this game out.
Yeah, I never did play Arkham City though, so...
Well, being that this has nothing to do with Arkham City or Arkham Asylum, you're golden. This is because it's a prequel, so I mean they're not going to talk about the events going on in the previous two games.
All right.
My biggest upset though, and this one is really just kind of it kind of made me laugh because I think Scott threw it on his best of list, but my biggest upset was Assassin's Creed 4.
Huh? Was that the pirate one? Or?
Yeah, it was I was so goddamn excited for this game, Dustin. Pirates, I was so happy. I was just like, yes! And I loved the ship combat from 3. I was just like, yes, this is happening. And then I started playing it, and, the beginning was fine, but eventually it just started just being like, okay, this is bullshit, and there's nothing really redeeming or that great about this game.
That game got so much hype from what I saw.
No kidding. Dustin, this game it had a lot of hype, and I was excited for it, and I was just like, yeah, but then it was just, meh. It just turned out to be it was a game. Had nothing really terribly wrong with it. It was just not what I was hoping for. It was a disappointment. But now it's time for my award, my whatever award.
Your award of choice?
My award of choice. It is the award for the best, the game that gave me the biggest murder boner.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So, it's only, like I said, GTA 5 had a couple of scenes in there that made me really get excited, but none of them had quite as much as God of War Ascension. God of War Ascension, and let me describe this scene to you for you people. And I would highly suggest looking this one up. God of War Ascension, you find this big ass elephant monster. And it's the first time, he's a big motherfucker, you're like, oh, I'm gonna take him on. When you get him down and you're doing the little button prompts, you see Kratos sticking his sword in his head, and he's stabbing over and over, and then he finally rips his head open, and you see the brain of this beast come flopping out, and the dead eyes of that creature just looking right at you. Oh God, I was just, yeah! I mean, that was my wallpaper on my goddamn computer for a while. I mean, that was the best, it was the best kill in any game I played this year. I know you played this there, Dustin. I know you did.
No.